CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Tonight on CVM News at 7, opposition slams staggered hike as PPV operators are granted a 16% fare increase. Parliament tables controversial FLA Integrity Commission report. USS Nimitz is still in Jamaica. Yes, the world's oldest active aircraft carrier is still anchored in Kingston Harbour. In the business report, examining Jamaican manufacturing in 360 degrees. And later on in sports, the West Indies versus Sri Lanka white ball battle begins on Wednesday.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
Popeye's Challenge Cup rolls on into the quarterfinal round Wednesday, June 3. It's win or go home. This is where true quality rises to the top. CVM TV will thrill you with a doubleheader from the Anthony Spalding Sports Complex. Jamaica Premier League champions Portmore United look to take a league and cup double, but face off against a Montego Bay United team hungry for silverware in the feature at 8:30 p.m. In the curtain raiser at 6 p.m, home team Arnett Gardens welcome a Jamaica Defence Force team whose military prowess saw them pull off a coup against Premier League giants Cavalier and march into the quarterfinals. Will David slay Goliath? Or will the mighty prevail? It's a tasty Popeye's Challenge Cup quarterfinal doubleheader live on CVM TV.
Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Headed straight in your direction. 'Cause I'm wiser, one step closer. I'm winning 'cause I work so hard. And the music keeps on playing, and the people never say we are mash up the dance. Oh, what a feeling! Don't stop dreaming. Keep on believing in the power of the feeling. Whatever you want, take a chance. Song in your heart, step in your dance. You got a spark, don't fit it dark. Shine your lights
Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Tuesday, June 2, 2026. I'm Carolyn Brown in for Nika Lewis. Thanks so much for joining us. Well, taxi operators and commuters are reacting to the government's approval of a 16% fare increase for public passenger vehicle PPV operators. 8% of the increase took effect immediately. Let's get more from Carla Ramdeen.
The government has announced a 16% fare increase with 8% effective June 2 and another 8% in July. Transport Minister Darrell Vass has cautioned operators against any further increases beyond the approved rates, urging full compliance with the official rate structure.
Now that the fares have been regularized, for want of a better word, it is going to be zero tolerance in relation to any overcharging. The 16% has now been granted within 1 month, June 2nd, July 1st. As I explained before, the rationale for that, and I'm sure that it will be understood and accepted. However, what I don't want is those persons that had raised their fares arbitrarily and illegally already to now do another fare increase on this government announced increase.
There's much reaction from taxi operators and commuters.
So 120, 130, it's still not enough. But we're still grateful still. You understand? But it's still not enough. You understand what I say? Because that can't buy gas, that can't buy a litre of gas.
Despite the call from the Transport Minister for PPV operators to abide by the approved rate structure, at least one taxi driver admitted to charging more than what is legally allowed.
You know, say, the passenger them still, they know say a 2 bill see fare. You understand? Them not ball or none car. One taste is spot here for 420. When we got a tire shop, we have to pay 1,000 for petrol tire. Insurance there, license sticker there, everything there for car. We second for 2 bills. We not go higher, we not go low.
A commuter who voiced concerns about the increase also said a $200 fare would have been more practical given the current cost of gas.
I think when the driver the motor is 2 bills, I think the person not really complain because JUTC bus collect 100 from Portmore to Arthurtree, 100 from Portmore to Downtown, 100 from Spanish Town to Arthurtree to Crossroad, and that is very unfair to JUTC bus driver them too. So what am I saying now? JUTC bus driver need to increase the fare too for about 150 also.
Carla Ramdeen, CVM News.
While opposition spokesman on transport Michael Phillips is describing the government's two-phased public passenger vehicle fare increase as a gimmick, adding it highlights the lack of a clear transport policy. He further argues commuters were left confused after the new fares took effect without a gazetted fare table or proper notice from the Transport Authority. He is therefore calling for greater transparency and a full review of the impact on commuters and operators.
I must speak plainly to every Jamaican who depends on public transport to get to work, to school and back home. The government has once again resorted to gimmicks, and this two-phased fare increase announced today by the Minister of Transport is proof that there is still no transport policy guiding this administration. What we witnessed was deeply unusual and disrespectful to commuters and operators.
And to this update now, the University Hospital of the West Indies is still under parliamentary scrutiny over procurement practices and documentation concerns as officials appeared before the Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday. We get more from Kevin Black.
Parliament's Public Accounts Committee on Tuesday continued its review of governance and procurement practices at the University Hospital of the West Indies, focusing on documentation controls, import procedures and signature authorizations. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis says the information on the review was obtained from customs records.
So I want to establish that the information that we have in the report, we got that from the ASICODA system, which is customs system. Based on what Mr. Allen is saying here, he's speaking to the letter, the concession letter. But it appears that Mr. Allen does not know that his signature is on a C-84 form that is dated the 25th of November 2023. Mr. Allen declared here just now that he left in 2022. Yeah. And it is for that reason why I think there was that outreach to speak to you to clarify this. Okay. This information we got from Jamaica Customs.
PAC Chairman Julian Robinson pressed for clarity during questioning of former UHWI CEO Kevin Allen, raising concerns about claims that some import forms may have been signed blank and questioning whether such practices could explain how signatures appeared on documents after his tenure ended.
There's been a view that some of these forms may have been signed blank to facilitate the importation of items for the university. And what you think would explain your signature on a form a year after you would have demitted the post as CEO?
Allen told the PAC that some procurement and import forms were used for internal purposes and said in some cases blank signatures were used under emergency conditions during his tenure.
But let me haste to say to the committee that upon submitting my resignation, a second letter was drafted to management, informing management to remove my name from all accounts.
Meanwhile, acting UHWI CEO Eric Hosin says the hospital is strengthening procurement controls through measures such as multiple quotations and stricter documentation as part of ongoing governance reforms.
No contractor or anyone begins to do work without the actual procurement process being completed, and no splintering of the contracts to for whatever reason that was done. We are avoiding this splintering thing, as well as we are trying to fix the infrastructure of the hospital.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
To other news, Jamaica is set to receive help from China with rice production. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says food security remains a top priority for the ministry, as the country is a major consumer of rice. The minister also says every option will be explored to make rice production better for Jamaicans.
That have looked at rice production, but we believe now, especially with China's expertise with their agricultural technology, that we will be able to execute a robust program around the production of rice. So we're going to look at these new approaches. We're going to build upon the lessons that we've learned in the past. I want to see if we can at least reduce some of our dependency on external rice production by producing our own.
Do stay with us. CVM News at 7 will continue right after this.
Once a month, you have the power to shape Jamaica's future. By paying your hard 3% contribution, you're not just contributing, you're investing in people, in skills, in our economy. Your hard contribution trains working-age Jamaicans, aligns programs with workforce needs, and secures our future. That's not just contribution, it's transformation. Contribute to heart and to your future.
Link. The missing link. Link virtual card. Sign up for Link from your app store. Select cards to activate your virtual card. And start shopping.
You! Come and pick up your order.
Oh, okay.
For the juicy, crunchy, irresistible taste of a KFC Big Deal, some people will do anything.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Now, as corruption continues to evolve, the regional leaders are gathering in Kingston for the 12th Annual Caribbean Conference of Accountants, Investors and Anti-Corruption Bodies to forge a unified, transparent path forward for the Caribbean. We get more details from Akeem Oret.
Leaders across the Caribbean gathered to discuss strategies to fight corruption in the region at the recent Caribbean Conference of Accountants, Investigators and Anti-Corruption Bodies. Advisor and Head of Public Sector Governance at the Commonwealth Secretariat, Dr. Roger Corentin, says the 12th Annual Conference will examine the issues of funding and resource strengthening in the region.
So this week, we're going to discuss a lot, including the funding that we need to, because the Commonwealth Secretariat funding is dwindling. And having supported the association for over 10 years, I think it's about time we have to discuss how we're going to strengthen our association in terms of resource mobilization. and also to take account of how far we have come in helping to deal corruption in the region. Because at the end of the day, that is the most important thing.
In the meantime, Director General of Jamaica's major organized crime and anti-corruption agency, Colonel Desmond Edwards, also highlighted that with the advancement of technology, cybercrimes have increased, forcing the organization to implement teams to counteract the emerging issues.
We have adapted at MOCA. We have had to evolve as well to meet the challenges posed by the environment. We have had to improve our cyber forensic capacities significantly, both in the use of technology as also in the use of our number of personnel and training mechanisms. We have had to establish highly specialized cyber investigations team. The MOCA establishment initially had not contemplated having specialized cyber investigators. We have had to do that just to respond to the frequency and number of phishing scams and fraud affecting financial institutions and their clients and customers.
Meanwhile, Executive Director of Jamaica's Integrity Commission, Craig Beresford, says the organization is advancing their development of national anti-corruption strategy to fight the scourge.
We are advancing the development of the national anti-corruption strategy. We would have been a bit slow in its implementation, but we intend to accelerate it to see how best we can bring our national players together and singing from one hymn sheet, because that's very important. We can't all be going in different directions, and we can't all be walking together and not holding hands. So it's going to be very important for us to be working together. We intend to engage key stakeholders at the community level, because we understand that if the persons on the ground do not appreciate what the impact of corruption is on their way of life, we are not going to be able to win this war.
Akeem Oret, CVM News.
A 22-year-old woman died while several other passengers were hospitalized following a multi-vehicle collision in St. James. Now, this devastating crash diminishes what road safety officials were celebrating as a major downward trend in national road fatalities. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, the NRSC, Dr. Lucian Jones, reiterates that 99% of all fatal crashes are entirely preventable. Kevin Black reports.
A young life was cut short and multiple people rushed to the hospital with severe injuries as a result of a multi-vehicle accident Monday on the Rose Hall main road in St. James. Police say the accident happened when the driver of a bus carrying school-aged children swerved violently into a construction tractor. Vice Chairman of the National Road Safety Council, Dr. Lucian Jones, says while national road deaths remain lower overall for the year, it does not diminish the impact of the sudden tragedy.
So that tragic death of the 22-year-old female came as a shock and a terrible tragedy. And condolences go out to the family and friends and community of that young lady. That crash should never have happened. I mean, we say this all the time, that we don't talk about accidents, we talk about crashes, because 99% of these crashes should never happen.
He is calling on the government to forcefully pull reckless drivers off the streets using the demerit system.
If people continue to break the law, if they continue to do madness, then the only thing I can stop them, at least temporarily, is for the state to roll out the demerit point system. And if you accumulate more than the required amount of points, then your license can be suspended and you come off the road. It's as simple as that.
Dr. Jones also outlines a comprehensive national strategy required to permanently drive down road deaths to comply with the World Health Organization.
We advocate for safe speeds, for safe roads, safe road users, safe vehicles, and an efficient post-crash system. You put all of that together, and you have a complete package that can help to drive down road deaths in this country. We need to go down to low 200 deaths for us to comply with the World Health Organization. And not just to comply with the WHO, but also to reduce the trauma and the pain and the suffering that families experience when their loved ones die.
Kevin Black for CVM News.
A major fishing beach along the north coast is better equipped with garbage collection heading into the hurricane season, a critical position thanks to owners of several beachfront properties making a deliberate effort to engage in preserving the coastline and stay connected with the backbone of their well-sought-out investments, people. Bad weather, as we call rough seas and high tides, are more than just a forecast for fishermen. It can be a life or death call. And based on Jamaica's last hurricane, disaster preparedness for coastal communities such as this location, the St. Anne's Bay Fisherman's Beach, should be non-negotiable. This is more than a workplace for fisher folks. It's home for some. It's where families are made. It's all they know.
I got to see with my brother, father, from about 16, when we reached in the 20s and so my boyfriend a fisherman, so I got to see with them until we have the license, so I know a license.
This boat and engine owner is a proud contributor to society who is aware one storm can not only smash an investment but turn anything in its way into flying projectiles. She also says a reasonable plan of action has to begin with the seemingly small things like proper garbage disposal. This is why the donation of 2 skips addresses a big void they were unable to close by themselves.
Grateful because it's been a long time since the beach has been operated without a skip, as they call it. We got one before and it was very tough. We were pleading for another one because the beach was looking really nasty. And you know it's on the front, and when you pass by you're just looking at it and fish is really food, and then people see the mess and then you come down and die. I want to say a big thank you again to Sanders that you've always been there for us.
Days after, and the difference was showing up inside the big blue garbage receptacles instead of being scattered around. And this bottle, also donated to encourage proper waste management, is proof all it takes is one good example to shift everything. Speaking of what works, the personable messages from the welcome sign protecting our paradise above and beyond the sea to clean community, brighter future on this retrofitted container represent a total shift to the aesthetics of the environment of this unique heritage site in the Garden Parish with significant economic potential. For Sandals, owners of beachfront resorts, it's another way of helping to preserve the coastline and showing they are not disconnected.
Sandals has been around for 45 years, and you know, a lot of our employees come from communities like these, and we want to show that there is a connection. We're not disconnected from the communities. We want to show that there's a link between the community and our resorts. We want to ensure that our communities are safer or cleaner, so that you can have a better working environment.
Now, after days of public pressure, Parliament has tabled the controversial Integrity Commission's investigative report into allegations of corruption, impropriety and irregularities at the Firearm Licensing Authority, the FLA. The report, shelved in Parliament since March, sparked widespread criticism and mounting calls from the opposition and civil society groups for its immediate tabling. The details from Amoy Harriet.
Our newsroom has obtained a copy of the Integrity Commission's investigative report dated March 2026 into allegations of corruption, impropriety and irregularities at the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA. The investigation was launched in June 2021 following a series of allegations made by way of an anonymous electronic mail the month before alleging corruption in the granting and revocation of firearm license, improper treatment of firearm dealers, and claims that firearms and ammunition ammunition were missing from FLA storage facilities. Now, after a nearly 5-year probe involving dozens of witness statements, site visits, and judicial hearings, the Commission says it found significant accountability and governance concerns at the FLA, particularly involving the storage of ammunition. One of the most notable findings relates to missing firearms and ammunition from the FLA's main vault. Now, the Integrity Commission says it found no evidence to support claims that firearms earmarked for destruction had gone missing. It says a physical verification exercise conducted with both the FLA and the Jamaica Defense Force found that all firearms and firearm parts scheduled for destruction were accounted for. However, investigators concluded that 191 rounds of ammunition belonging to a private firearm holder are unaccounted for at the FLA's main vault. They also found deteriorating storage bags, limited vault space, missing records, and poor inventory controls. Also of concern, FLA's license management system. The Commission concluded that the system was manipulated and that inaccurate information was entered into the account of firearm dealer Kent Brown without his request or consent. Investigators found entries showing the sale of 6,000 rounds of bird hunting ammunition to 3 individuals. 2 denied making the purchases, while a third had died weeks before one of the transactions was allegedly recorded. The Commission says the entries appear to have been fabricated and could amount to a breach of the Cybercrimes Act. However, no referral for prosecution was made because investigators said a reported failure of the FLA's server created evidentiary gaps. The report further concludes that there is sufficient basis to believe Kent Brown was targeted by the FLA, but that the revocation of Brown's license by FLA was fair, justified, and within the authority's legal powers. In its conclusions, the Integrity Commission says it found weaknesses in accountability, record management, and oversight. The Commission has issued a series of recommendations aimed at strengthening controls, improving accountability, and preventing similar issues from recurring. Amoy Harriet, CVM News.
We'll have more CVM News at 7 in a moment.
Don't just watch the action, be part of it. With Chris and Charles' Score Big Loan Promotion, upgrade your TV, plan that trip, or handle what matters most, fast and easy. And here's the best part. Every loan gives you a chance to win one of 3 58-inch smart 4K TVs. So while your favorite team scores on the field, you could be scoring big too. Promotion runs May 11 to July 20, 2026. Visit any branch or Chris and Charles for details. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Score big this football season on and off the field.
It's game on at Quartz. Spend $150,000 on credit purchases or $250,000 on cash at Quartz from May 1, 2026 to June 20, 2026 to be automatically entered for a chance to win one of 3 smart TVs to watch the matches in style. First place gets a 98-inch TCL Smart TV. Second place a 55-inch. And third place a 43-inch. Score big and upgrade your game day vibes when you shop at Quartz, bringing value home. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply. Juicy, crunchy, irresistible taste of a KFC big deal, some people will do anything. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Hey, what I want? Hi, I am Candy Pang.
What a guan?
What a guan?
That a guan pa.
What a guan? What a guan?
What a guan? Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. on CVM TV.
That's a guan pa. What a
guan? This week on Farming Forward, we're coming to you from. Whoa! Look at that! Real. We're coming to you from Riverdale in St. Catherine, and we'll be talking to that young entrepreneur you just saw. He was picking breadfruit, but I can tell you about the chickens that he's been caring for all these years. He'll be talking to us about real yard chickens. Farming Forward.
We're brought to you by Nutrimix. Tell me,
Nutrimix?
The big feed. The big feed.
Anything for the taste of a KFC, big deal. The time by KFC is
7:30.
As we welcome you back, it's time for CVM's Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today. As the sphere of influence of Jamaica's manufacturers and exporters associations Manufacture 360-degree conference expands into its third staging, observed under the theme Robust Recovery for Resilient Growth. The influence is shaping the future of Jamaican manufacturing in the post-Super Hurricane era were explored with candor by many of the sector's most astute practitioners and organizations invested in its success, including President of the JMEA, Catherine Silvera.
Melissa did not just damage our factories, it revealed weaknesses that we can no longer ignore. Business continuity gaps, fragile supply chains, inadequate insurance, and financing that fails our members when they need it the most. As we strengthen our business continuity, we also must consider expanding aspects of our manufacturing footprint into CARICOM so that climate-related disasters in one territory do not bring production for the entire region to a standstill.
For Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Aubin Hill, it requires that the manifold of Jamaican manufacturing be bolstered technologically.
The manufacturers who will lead the next decade are right now adopting these tools to invest in digital, AI-driven systems to replace manual processes and achieve measurable efficiency gain. Measurable. We must measure the efficiency gains that we say that we are achieving.
To that end, Minister Matthew Samuda says he wants Jamaicans to manufacture more, sharing a timeline relating to the influx of capital designed to embed resilience in Jamaica's development agenda whilst hardening the built environment.
It is why the government within 12 months will launch what's called a blue-green fund that will fund both government and private sector initiatives. It will be housed at the Development Bank of Jamaica. We are working with multilateral partners, and that fund will be anchored by the GCF, being the Green Climate Fund, and will unlock some $200 million of projects that will fit within the mitigation target.
The infusion of capital is accompanied by a pre-existing regime that seeks to provide productive input reliefs for those manufacturers looking to equip or re-equip their operations for the opportunities that lay ahead.
We allowed duty to be forgiven for an amount of 82.2 billion Jamaican dollars. It's a lot of money, and a lot more of you can use it.
For Gary Butch Hendrickson, chairman of Continental Baking Company, whose over 30-year experience at the helm of perhaps the leading innovator within the baked goods sector, if Jamaican manufactured goods are to remain competitive, there is no alternative.
Folks, don't get comfortable. Don't ever get comfortable. I don't care how small you are. If you don't think you need technology, you are wasting your time. You can't say, we can't. You have to say you must. If you don't think you need technology, you're wasting your money, your time, and everything else. You cannot do it without it. You cannot do it, and you need to be guided, you need to ask. You need to find out what best practice is and go and look at it.
Chorvel Johnson Cunningham, CEO of Sagicor Bank Jamaica, reminds of another crucial input if the island is to manufacture its own pathways for growth.
I encourage us to think about the kind of country we want to build beyond recovery. Not the kind of country that we want for today, but the country that we want for the future. That is a country that is more resilient, a country that is more self-sufficient, a country that is more innovative, and a country more connected through meaningful partnership.
It's our country, and we need to take it seriously, our country.
And that was your business report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
Internationally now, 2 people have been shot dead in the central Kenyan town of Nanyuki amid protest against U.S. plans to establish an Ebola isolation center at a military base nearby. Now, the circumstances of their deaths are not clear, and officials have not commented on the matter. The latest from the BBC.
In Kenya, sources have confirmed to the BBC that 2 people have died in protests against the establishment of a US government Ebola isolation unit. Kenya's Doctors Union and government watchdogs oppose the plan, saying it risks exposing local populations. Our correspondent Thomas Mukwana is at the scene of Monday's protests in Nanyuki and has been outlining how the unrest played out over the past 24 hours.
It's a lot calmer than the videos we saw yesterday. Yesterday, this road behind me, the airbase is farther down that road, a few kilometers from here. But down that road on the other side is where Nanyuki town is, and that's where most of the protesters congregated yesterday. And as you said, they were marching against the establishment of that Ebola isolation facility by the US government inside the Kenyan airbase here in Laikipia. But earlier in the day, there were agency reports of 2 men who died reportedly at these protests yesterday. And the BBC, we've been able to confirm that 2 men indeed died yesterday evening, and both of them were brought in that facility over there. It's the Nanyuki Referral Hospital. One apparently died, according to reports, at the emergency section of that hospital. But we've seen both bodies, and both appear to have bullet wounds. A local protest organizer has confirmed to us that the man that was brought at the emergency section was shot at a settlement nearby called Baraka Estate, and Good Samaritans drove him quickly to this hospital, but he tragically passed away, and his family has been informed. But the police have not confirmed any of this to the media yet, but we will be getting in touch with them. And the local police have not also given us responses on exactly what happened. So far, we haven't seen any protests yet today, but police officers are all over the town on every intersections of roads, and they've been deployed in droves in this town to try and avoid protests from happening today.
And what are we hearing from the government there about these plans to create this Ebola isolation unit? The president has been speaking.
The president spoke yesterday, and he said that this is part of a health pact between Kenya and the United States government. He says that Kenya, since independence, has been receiving around 25 to 35% of its health budget from the United States, and he says that this...
We now make way for sports. Stay with us.
Before the first patty is made, there are hands that raise it, hands that grow it, hands that move it, hands that bake it, and hands that serve it. For Jamaica, by Jamaica. Through challenges and changing seasons, they stood strong. They built with us. They believed. To every farmer, every team member, every partner, thank you.